Hi everyone, my name is Elizabeth. My pronouns are she, her. Welcome to my Flosstube channel. This is Savory Sewing. You can also find me on Instagram at Savory Sewing. Today is Sunday, March 9th, 2025, and this is Flosstube number 45. So in the last couple weeks, I have touched a lot of projects. I don't have any fully finishes. I have a finish that I technically didn't stitch on, but it's a finish. And a bunch of whips to show you today. We made it through the end of February. Somehow, February felt short but long, and I don't know how it's March already. I think that's going to be a theme of this year is where did 2025 go? But I think my last video was February 23rd. So we wrapped up February and the in-between time since I have filmed last. And in February, I'm going to pop up my stats here just for posterity. I stitched 25 out of 28 days. So better than January. January, kind of a slacker on the stitching. I worked on 15 different projects. I had 5 new starts and only 1 finish. And my finish was the Stitch for Pride 2025 motif. No actual like complete finishes, because that's just sort of a finish for now because it's a different motif each month. For March is my birthday month, so I am stitching whatever I want. So what you're going to see soon here is some of my favorites that I wanted to work on this month. Also at the end of February, I touched a lot of Christmas because I don't know why. Well, there's no good reason. It's just usually on the 24th and the 25th, I try to stitch on holiday things. And then I had 2 starts planned as part of my WIPGO Bauble board. So there'll be a weird little Christmas interlude, and then we'll jump into other stitching. But before we do that, I'm going to show you my finish, which I actually didn't stitch on. So actually, I can show you a picture of the pattern. Well, I'll show you a picture of the pattern here. So this is from Hands On Design. This was released at the Superb Owl stitching retreat that Hands On Design and Lady Stitches hosted last year on Superb Owl Sunday. And this pattern was also a release at market this year. And I had planned on pulling it out this month to stitch on it. I'm going to show you what I've got. I've stitched one little owl here. This is Snips. This is all the called for DMC, and this is 36 count Highland by Picture This Plus. And my plan was, when I started stitching this, was to stitch 3 of the owls and make a little drum. The idea, I would make a little container to hold sewing things in here in the sewing room where I'm sitting. And so Snips is completely done, and I was looking at him, and not that the other owls aren't adorable, because they are. I was thinking to myself, do I want to stitch 2 more? That enough that this couldn't just be a finish? And I decided no, this can just be a finish. So I could still turn it into something to hold things, or like a little sleeve. It would be super easy to do, or to cut him out and to, stitch some other fabric around him. But for now, I've decided that this is a finish, and I don't need to stitch any more of these cute little owls. But if you do like this pattern and you did not go to that retreat last year, this pattern was released at market, and so you can get it now. So that's a finish. Not really a finish because I didn't stitch it at all, but I'm not going to stitch any more of him. So he's done. He's done. He's so cute. All right. So now I think I said no fully finishes. I haven't finished anything to fully finish, and the things that aren't fully finished for a reason. And that is mostly laziness. And they're going to stay that way. All right, so the next whip, or the first whip, I guess I'm going to show you, is this one. This is The 4th Day of Christmas by Hello from Liz Mathews. This is a series that she has. And the 12th one was just released at market this year. I think today is Sunday the 9th, is the last day of market. I have 3.5 done, so I'll show you what I've got on the 4th day. I made a good amount of progress on this. I think I had joy 2, and so I put in the L and the D. I brought the border all the way across and started working it down, and I did a bunch of fill-in on the banner here. So now that I have this is as far down I think as this brown goes, if I remember correctly. And then there's 2 more birds, and this repeats down here. So still have a decent amount of stitching left to do on this. I am stitching this with all the called for DMC, and this is 40 Count Fog by Picture This Plus, I believe. My goal is to finish 2 of these this year. This one by June and start the 5th day in July. And then just keep on going. So next, I started 2 pieces as part of my Bauble WIPGO board. So I will put, no, I'll put a picture of it in plans, but just know these are the 2 numbers that were called for February. And so these are just, the goal of these is just to start them. And so the first one, I don't have pictures of these because they're just in these Bauble ball books. So I will do my best to show them to you. And they're also a little small in the books. So this is the one I'm stitching. This is from a set called Jeannette's Trio. You can see there's 3 patterns. I'm doing this one, which is called the Pincushion. Pincushion pattern is all it's called, but it's cute. It's got 2 little vases, little birdie, little tree. And it's by Jeannette Douglas. And here's my start. So I'm stitching this. This is Latte by Fiber on a Whim. 36 count. I'm stitching it 1/1, and it's mostly the called for. The called for are Classic Colorworks and some other overdyes. Excuse me, they all just fell on the floor. And so I pulled those and subbed where I needed to, and so it's actually a really pretty color palette. Just very cheerfully Christmas, right? You've got your greens, pinks and reds. It's very pretty. I will say I think there are 3 greens in this. Yeah, there's 3 greens. For a tiny little piece, it's got a lot of colors. I will tell you, this bottom border was supposed to have, I think, all 3 greens in it. And I just decided to no, and just picked one. I did not have it in me to make that more complicated than it needed to be. I think it's going to look fine. But very cute. And so that's one that I got started. And then the next one is this cover, the cover model here. This is the 22 book, I think. And that's a Satsuma Street pattern called Ringing in Good Cheer. And those are charted like she's, what's her name? I can't think of her name. Jody? Don't quote me on that. I forgot the name of the lady who designed Satsuma Street. Anyway, they're perforated paper. She does a lot of ornaments on perforated paper. I didn't have any, and so rather than order it, I decided I was going to stitch them on fabric and not do full coverage. So this one's going to be on pink, this one's going to be on teal, and hypothetically that one's going to be on red, although I don't have any red fabric right now. And then I'm going to do a different kind of finish. So this is what I've stitched so far. This is the called for DMC, and the color of the fabric, this is Peach of My Heart from Fiberlicious Family Fibers. It's a scrap I had from a piece that I got from, I was in her Fabric of the Month Club, but I know you can get this color. So I'm doing, these are not outlined in the pattern. I just made up my own outline here. And my plan is to, or at least test this out in the small one, because I think I can do it, is to stitch this and outline it, and then stitch another outline. And then if you've ever made one of the blocks from Hands On Design, I'll put a picture in here so you know what I'm talking about. The way that she has those finished is you stitch an outline like this, and then you use those outlines and you stitch those stitches together to make the block. And so I think that's going to work. So we're going to test it out on this little one first. I don't see why it wouldn't work. It just might be a little wonky because it's not straight, but I think I can finagle it. And then I'll stuff them with some polyfill or maybe some fabric scraps or what have you, and make them like a little bit 3D. and then I can still hang a bell on them like this. And so we're going to test it out on the little guy. And if it works, I'll stitch the other two and do the same thing. If it doesn't work, we'll come up with something else. But I'm going to test it out on the smallest one first because I'm not stitching all three of them just to have this fail. But they're very pretty, very bright colors. Excited. And yeah, there's no outline here. So the bell shape's a little wonky at the moment. I might have to do some adjusting just to make it look nice, but because there's like a little dip here that I don't know if is necessary, but that was just following the way the stitches are in the pattern, which makes sense if you're cutting perforated paper because you need that. It might not make so much sense when you're just stitching a back stitch. So yeah, so those are my two new starts, which we just went out of order. Those are my only new starts. And yeah, we're going in chronological order instead of usual Flosstube order here for like no good reason. So whatever. Are you mad about it? No, I'm not mad about it. Anyway, those were my two new starts that were also Christmassy that I started in February. I have not started anything new in March, so there's that. Let's see, what is next on the list? So we're still in February stitching, and so this might be one of the last things I stitched in February was this pattern. So this is by Rebel Stitchers Designs. This is a book that she came out with, well, I can't remember, a couple years ago, and it's called Civil Samplers, and it's got 3 designs in it, and I'm stitching Folding Chair, which has a quote on it from Shirley Chisholm. She was the first Black woman to be elected to Congress, U.S. Congress, in 1968. And so it says, if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. And I stitched this because February was Black History Month. And I felt like was a good reason to pull this out. So here's where I am. Not that it's, all right, maybe we won't be able to put that behind it. You're not gonna be able to see it as well. I can't remember what I'm stitching it on. Here, let me try. Nope. I've got nothing white in front of me, so we're just gonna have to suffer through. It's stitched with Dinky Dyes from an Oops pack that I had. I think the called for Classic Colorworks. It's a navy and then a light blue, like in 2 light blues. Here you can see, and like a blue or gray. I think in the called for, this gray is a little bit darker, so it's kind of not showing up super bright on my fabric, but I still like it. I just need to finish the words and the border. And there are some more things in that flower vase. Actually, there's one thing I noticed in the flower vase that I really like that I was going to show you if I can without showing the pattern. But I was looking at it and thinking, oh, it's weird that there's initials in there. And I was like, but it's an S and a C for Shirley Chisholm. I was thinking to myself, how am I going to put my initials in there? I don't want to do that. And then I realized that she cleverly put the initials of the person who said the quote in there, and I really like that. So I will be stitching this. Anyway, I really like these. I really want to stitch the Good Trouble one. I don't know if I'll stitch the Maya Angelou one, but that one's also really nice. So that is that. I think I could get this done. I'm hoping to get that one done in June, but we'll see. Okay, so next I pulled out this pattern. So this is by Stitchy Princess Black, and it's called Miss Sunflower. I purchased this several years ago when Russia first invaded Ukraine, and lots of folks were supporting Ukrainian designers, which Stitchy Princess Black is, by stitching their pieces and, you know, purchasing their patterns and what have you. And so this, I don't think you can get Miss Sunflower. I think she's reworked it to be Miss Ukraine. There's a slightly different version than the one that I have that's on her Etsy shop, but this is the one I've got. And I also stitched this for Allison from Cross Stitch the Globe's birthday, for her princess birthday sale, because Stitchy Princess, and Allison told me her favorite flowers are sunflowers, so it was perfect. So this is where I am. I think she looks gorgeous. I'm also not stitching all the stuff at the top, I think is what my plan was. There's like some clouds or something going on. This is Vintage Country Mocha. I think it's 36 count, 1/1. I think it's charted in DMC, and I have a Classic Colorworks and Threadworks conversion. That green, that is her dress, which is a beautiful variegated, is called Grass is Greener by Threadworks. And so I'm really excited to get that whole giant dress done because I think it's going to look really good. And then everything else is Classic Colorworks in colors that, you know, make sense. You know, yellow where they wanted a yellow, orange where they wanted an orange. I think her skin color might be a little light because she's kind of glowing, but I'm not picking that out. Yeah, she's ghosty, but she's really cute.
Cookie break.
I am being delivered some cookies. Ooh. So, as you all probably know, it's Girl Scout cookie time, and I've never had these ones before. Caramel chocolate chip. Hopefully these are, what kind of chips did we have at Chip Break? I don't even remember. Did you bring me were they the dill pickle ones? I forgot. Anyway, a couple months ago we had a Chip Break. Now we're having a cookie break. They're soft. I wasn't expecting them to be soft.
They caught me by surprise.
Yeah. They look like they're going to be like crunchy. Like the crunchy Chips Ahoy's, but they're soft. I don't really get a ton of caramel. Or the hint of sea salt. But they're good.
I got almost like a touch of oatmeal for some reason. There's no oatmeal at all in there. But they're very good. Give me the bag back.
Oh. The bag is being demanded back. Alright, let me finish this cookie. Sorry. Apologies for all the chewing, folks. We've had good luck with the new Girl Scout cookie flavors this year. It's a good thing I got a water. I'm a Thin Mint person. They were #1. But we also tried the Adventurefuls, which were also nice. They were like a chocolate cookie with salted caramel on them. Not too sweet. And then also the lemon ones. I can't remember what they were called. They were like a lemon shortbready, not quite a shortbread. They weren't that short, with like a lemon glaze on them that were also nice. Anyway, cookie break. Back to the cross stitching. I'm gonna do another sip. That was way better than I thought it was gonna be. Sometimes they're just so sweet. Okay. Back to our regular schedule programming. This pattern is by, I don't remember, but here it is. It's called Make Your Own Magic. I know it's from Etsy. It's a PDF I got on Etsy. And I started stitching this sometime last fall. Or did I start it this year? I actually don't remember. Basically because I needed something to stitch with this gorgeous floss. This is Gothic Raspberry, excuse me, from Pirate and Robin. I saw this on Thread Gremlins. One of the Gremlins got the Morbs from Modern Folk Embroidery with this. And I bought it like that day, as one does. And here's where I am on this. Oh, I love this. I'm really excited about this. I've got another pattern by this designer that I'm excited to stitch as well. It's got just like all these cute little things going on. It's going to say Make Your Own Magic, obviously. I think this fabric is, it's Cobblestone from Forbidden Fiber Company, but I don't remember. It's gray. It's just a nice gray, and this floss is just popping beautifully on it. Yeah, it's good, right? Yeah. I'm going to show you. I made this little project bag I made with one of my finishes. It's a little wonky, but it's good. It works. This is from one of the Just Cross Stitch magazines from a couple years ago. This cute little carriage with the little witch. And just perfect size for these patterns where you just need one floss and they're a digital pattern anyway. You don't need a whole big project bag. Next is one of my birthday starts from last year, which I've made like no progress. Well, yeah, I've made very little progress on my birthday starts from last year. I had 2. And here it is. This is Olivia the Forest Witch by Bella Filipina. So pretty. After I finished, well, actually, no, I did. I made myself finish. I think I did. I think I finished the stitching on Dark Queen before I allowed myself to start Olivia. That was my goal. So I didn't need 2 earthy, witchy ladies going at the same time. And I think I maybe was also a little burnt out from finishing Dark Queen because this is all I've gotten done on Olivia so far. This fabric, which looks really good here, is the Called For. I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's what's charted and dyed by Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers for this pattern. I'm pretty sure this is the 28 count. Might be the 32. It's kind of tight, but I'm stitching it 2/2 with all the Called For DMC and I think it's Krynic. But look how pretty. There's going to be a big owl right down here. And I started this with Stephanie from Frala Knits. I know she had the face done last time I saw her show it, and I think she had already started beading because she couldn't resist the sparkle. I've just put some of the sparkly in as well, but not any beads yet. But yeah, this is going to take a hot minute. But it's so good. I think I want to stitch that other one by, there's a Mirabilia, I think it's called, is it called Forest Goddess? The one with like, she's got antlers. I know a lot of folks stitch that instead of Dark Queen. So I think after I finish this one, if another, something doesn't catch my eye, I might stitch that one as well. But anyway, that is where I am. She's got a ways to go. It is what it is. All right. Next, I have one more birthday start for my birthday from last year, and that is this one. This is Oona Owl by the Artsy Housewife. And I don't have a ton done on this. I was watching, so Stephanie from Cross Stitch the Globe started this with me as well because she was planning on stitching it. And she showed it in her web parade and had so much more done than I have. Or had. I did get a bit done this weekend, and so I felt like I should probably, make some effort on my own birthday stitch. But here's my little Oona. So I'm stitching it 1/1 and 25 count Lugana. That's why it's in a hoop. So generally I stitch in hand. I think I've said this before, but 1/1 and 25 count and soft, large Adas or linens, I need some tension. My stitches look like not great. But this is, oh gosh, how cute is Oona? Isn't she so cute? Yeah, side note. I got distracted by how cute this owl is. I'm using the Called For mostly. I'm using all the classic colorworks, and I subbed some classic colorworks for some of the fancy flosses I didn't have. And then I think there's some DMC in there, like this brown, that's the border, and then a lot of the owl is DMC. But I got like a whole bunch of his face done here, and then all these flowers, and then this is as far as it goes on this side. So it's going to go up and over, and then there's some more flowers on this side. But that owl is basically full coverage, and he's picky full coverage, so he's taken a minute. But I guess she's taking a minute. Her name is Oona. I'm assuming Oona is a girl owl name. How cute. So good. So good. So need to get cracking on that because I also have her other, I think she only has 2 owl patterns. I only own 2 of them. I also have this one. You got this. And so once I finish Oona, I'm going to stitch this one. And I think I'm going to also stitch it on the same fabric. So they can be like a little pair. Not that they're probably ever going to live together, but... Or I might not, because stitching on 25 count is so picky that I will never get it done. If you stitch 1/1. If I was stitching it 2 over 2, it would not be the same story. But, okay, so those are my 2 birthday starts from 2024. I do not have a birthday start planned for 2025. That's not to say I couldn't start something later today, and I might, but I have not got a plan. So it would be one of those, you know, spur of the moment, let's do this thing sort of things. But anyway, we'll see. This was started, this is another birthday start, but not for my birthday. So Michelle Bendy Stitchy's birthday is March 10th. I don't know, did I say my birthday is today? My birthday is the 9th. So that was, I started a year ago today, and I don't have very much progress. But anyway, Michelle Bendy Stitchy's birthday is tomorrow. And last year for her birthday, there was a group of folks who were celebrating Bendy birthday and stitching patterns or starting things. And so, oh, I guess I'll tell you what I'm going to stitch, then I'll show you what I've got. This is Rappaccini's Quaker by Bendy Stitchy. And I love this. And I've talked about this ad nauseum, how excited I was to start this. And here's where I am. So I got a bunch of this done stitching this weekend. This is Resolution by Forbidden Fiber Co. It was a fabric of the month. I think last I checked, there was some on her website. This is the 36 count linen. Flosses are all the called for classic colorworks, which is, it's a real straightforward palette. Red, orange, green, white, and I think this is black coffee. Yeah. So if you sub DMCs, it would be, I think, just as beautiful because these aren't super variegated. And this is where I am. So you probably know, because I've talked about it if you've watched, that these are all poisonous plants from the garden of Rappaccini's daughter's garden. And I just love this. All I need to do is, basically this is repeated over here. And then there's a couple more. So here you can see this T for Taxus is stitched in Smyrna crosses, and then I started the A, and then there's also a C and a P for the other 2 species that are represented on here. And then there's a butt ton of French knots. So I'm going to stitch the whole thing, and then I'm going to pop it into a Q-snap and do the French knots. Well, maybe not all at once, but this is basically covered in French knots. There's French knots. There's some stitching that's going to go into each of these little ovals, and then there's French knots there, and there's a bunch of back stitching to make the have you ever seen Chinese lanterns? So they're like this, and then they've got, as the pods sort of they don't decay, but they become like this little, it's not mesh, but this little skeleton sort of situation around, and so that gets back stitched on. Yeah. Anyway, I was hoping to get this one. I didn't get any of the birthday starts for March done in time for anyone's birthdays, but I was thinking maybe I could get this close before Michelle's birthday tomorrow, but not so much. But isn't it great? Oh, I really like, 1, I really like plants. 2, I really like poisonous plants as based on, and I think I've stitched poisonous plants by the Witchy Stitcher. I'm working on, I guess technically, I've stitched Carnivorous Terrarium by Lola Crow, and the Greenhouse of Oddities has maybe not poisonous plants in it so much as, you know, deadly plants. So I'm a fan. So, all right. Last project that I worked on, and I finished working on this, or was working on this yesterday. So this is by Jacob from Modern Folk Embroidery. This is called Love Thy Neighbor. I keep wanting to call it Love Your Neighbor. It's Love Thy Neighbor. And there is a stitch along for this that was started by Caroline from Evertotes called the Love Thy Neighbor Sal. Caroline is based in Canada, and well, I live in Oregon. I live in the US. And we love our Canadian neighbors, or at least some of us do. And I got that giant, beautiful center Love Thy Neighbor motif finished. Isn't it beautiful? This is Blue Smoke, Smoke Blue, I think it is, from Zweigart Linen. It's It's one of their standards. And I'm stitching it with, this is silk. You might have remembered I had a slight disaster with my hank of silk from Moselle Silk a couple months ago. This is what I've got organized. There's still a rat's nest hanging over there. But this is called, the color is Evergreen, and I think it looks really nice on this blue. And also this is kind of the cup. A lot of my house are these colors. They're gray and blue. So this is going to be a beast. It's going to be this big ish. When I started stitching that motif, I was not expecting it to be as gigantic as it is, but it looks really good. And I also have it in one of my Evertote bags, which I love. They have that little Canadian flag. This is from the bag of the quarter club that they started. And so this was the first quarter. I know they previewed the first quarter ones. I don't know if they're going to show the second quarter ones before they come out, but super nice. Also on that note, there have been a couple of patterns dropped, supporting Canada. One of them is this one. This is from Maximum Cross Stitch. So many of you likely know that Ellen Reed of Maximum Cross Stitch she's Canadian as well. And a member of the Crash Test Dummies, so you didn't know. But anyway, she dropped this one. It says elbows up on it. I believe this is free on her website. And then this one I also saw on Instagram, and I'm going to put a picture in here. I can't remember the name of the designer, but it's got this hilarious little Canadian goose on it, and also I think says elbows up. So if you're looking for patterns to support our Canadian neighbors as we try to annex them into being the 51st state, you know, as one does, and those are available. Anyway, it's a lot right now, folks. It's a lot. Okay, let's see. I have no haul. I have not shopped for cross stitch supplies. Oh, that's not true. Technically, I did place my market order, but I don't have it, so it's not going to count as haul until it actually shows up on my doorstep. And I would guess I might have it by the next video. I ordered from Abby from Top Knot Stitcher, and I know that she ships a lot out from, I don't know if her sister lives in Tennessee or lives nearby, and they go back and Top Knot's Central US East Coast office, and they ship out of there before she comes back to the West Coast. So I do not have any haul. Let me look at my list. What else did I want to talk about? No haul, some starts, Canada freebies, Nashville. Yeah, my plans are to show you my Nashville haul in my next video. Let's talk about March plans in general. So again, it's my birthday month and I'm going to stitch on whatever I want. The WIPGO calls were number 9 and number 24. And I have them in front of me so I can show you what I'm going to be working on. I have not started working on either of these things, but I have an embarrassingly small start on this one for how long I've had it. So this is Got the Morbs by Jacob from Modern Folk Embroidery. I started this in 2023 as part of the Got the Morbs stitch along. I don't remember who was hosting it. I don't remember who the official host was, but I know a lot of folks stitched this and have finished it. I clearly have not, but I have gotten the top and the bottom done. This is, oh, is it steel? Pretty sure it's steel by Picture This Plus. And it's DMC, I think it's 3. And it's very, very tony, right? It's very, very blendy. I like it, but it doesn't make it easy for my poor little old lady eyes to stitch. One of my friends, we are in our early 40s, and I think she just got bifocals. And so I'm like, oh, do I want to go to the eye doctor and find out that I need them too? I don't. I'm just going to keep sticking my head in the sand for a little while longer. But I think the end is nigh. But anyway, so this is going to get 2 days as part of its WIPGO call for this month. For the other one that got called is Salem 1692 sampler. And this also got called in February and didn't get completely finished. So it's got to get a bunch of days. So I did just show this in my last video saying that I was going to stitch on it one more day to hit my February WIPGO call. That didn't happen. But here it is. Oh, hopefully there was another picture here, but here's where I am. This is going to get, this needs 3 days. Yeah, this needs 3 days this month to hit WIPGO. And then it's missing a day from February. So we'll see. I put these on my WIPGO board because they are, I don't dislike them, but you can see there's a theme here. Like this color fabric is hard for me to stitch on. And I should, maybe that should tell me something about what I should start for new starts for the future. But I do love them both, and they're going to get finished someday. All right, and now I'm going to show you. So I've got 2 WIPGO boards. So that was my usual WIPGO board calls, which if I didn't put a picture in here or picture up, I might put a picture here just to talk through it. But all my WIPGO, regular WIPGO board is old WIPs, so 23 and older. So I'm hoping to finish or get good progress on I have 2 21 WIPs left out there, and then 5, I think, 2022 WIPs, and then I put some 2023 WIPs on there. So I'm trying to use my WIPGO board that way to finish some of these older things. And then I also have a Bauble bar WIPGO board. And this was started with Stephanie from Cross Stitch the Globe. She made hers, and then I took hers, and anything that I wanted to stitch that she was also stitching, I kept. And then there were some things in the Bauble books that I wanted to stitch that she didn't, so I subbed those in. And then there's also a couple other Christmas smalls that I had kitted up with intentions to stitch, and just, you know, they kind of never got stitched. So I put those on here so that maybe they would get started. And so the goal is to start everything, not necessarily finish it, but at the very least get them all started. So the 2 calls for this month are this one. This is a Teresa Kogut pattern called Season's Greetings. Cute little house. Mary Teresa Kogut. And then With Love and Help by Pansy Patch, which is in this book. With Love and a Little Help. And it's just this little, got a little birdie, little deer, little tree, some little doodads. Very cute. So I'm going to get both of those started. And my plan is to, let's see, what is the called for? It's got a DMC conversion, and I think the Teresa Kogut has a DMC conversion. But my plan is to actually just use the same fabric, because I have a little scrap left, enough for both of those, of the latte, and then the same flosses that I started this. This is the Jeannette Douglas Pincushion pillow. Pincushion, whatever. I'm just going to use this and stitch those with the same palette. I don't have to get out more floss. I think if I need another color, like, I'll grab it, but I think there's enough here to make it work. And I mean, they're little Christmas smalls that they kind of all go together. I mean, all Christmas goes together eventually, right? So that's my plan, is to just keep it easy. My plan always with the baubles was to, you know, if I have the called for, use it, but if not, you know, they're great ways to use up scraps of things and little bits of fabric that you have from other projects. So that is the plan. I will get those started, and then hopefully maybe get one finished, maybe. But at the very least, my plan for July is to finish as many of the ones that I've started, plus I'll start 2 more, and even maybe fully finish some. That might be a step too far, but that's July's goal at the moment, is to do kind of like a mid-year wrap-up of some of those. That way some of them get fully finished before Christmas. We'll see. My other plan is to I've got to stitch my Stitch for Pride 2025 motif No, my Stitch for Pride 2045 March motif, which looks like this. So this is a pattern by D's 20 Stitches. I've not done the learning yet, so I don't want to tell you anything about this except that it looks super cool, which you can see because you can see it. But I don't recall the person's name or anything about them from just skimming the thing. I will say I highly recommend you go watch Dee's latest Flosstube video because they do talk about the pattern, and they do also talk about what happened at National Needlework Market this year with the posters that I mentioned in my last video, a lot more than I realized. So I go give them a like and a subscribe. Maybe buy a pattern or two. But anyway, so those are my plans. I have a couple other things that I'd like to stitch on. I have on my list for Dark 13 stitching to pull out All Hallows Eve sampler. I'll put a picture up here. And then also to pull out Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow on the 29th, but I think I'll be back with you before then, so perhaps plans will have changed. But yeah, that's all I got. It's gonna be a short one. I hope you all have a lovely March. Spring is springing here and it's making me very happy. I might run out and do some yard work before I edit this so I can take advantage of the fact that it's like 55 and sunny out. And that, I mean, when I was a kid, well, I lived in upstate New York. It snowed on my birthday. But it's nice to have sunshine in March. And yeah, I hope you have a great spring if you live in this hemisphere. Or, and I guess fall also if you live in the other hemisphere, which is also a lovely, lovely season. Anyway, I will see you in a couple weeks, folks. Happy stitching. Bye.